Trek by the American science fiction writer Gene Roddenberry. Look at the words Star Trek. Why do you think they are leaning to the right? They are not straight like the other letters. That's because that's the name of a book. It's also the name of a TV series, Star Trek, from the 1960s, more than 50 years ago. Gene Roddenberry is the one who wrote this book. This story is generally considered, many people think of this story as the most popular, most loved, and successful science fiction story of all time in history. Its popularity, its love from the people grew. Grew is the past of grow. It got bigger and bigger today. It boasts millions of fans. It proudly included millions of lovers. From all around the world, millions of people love this series. Now, what is the best heading for this paragraph? It is an all-time classic. All-time because people from the past and even people from today. And today it boasts millions of fans. All science fiction is based on, this is the foundation of science fiction, the mix, the combination of science and fantasy, imagination, and no other series of books. Series of books means book part 1, part 2, part 3, that's a series, has really done it better than Star Trek. Long before the technology became commonplace, ordinary, everyday use. Now everybody has mobile phones and laptops, but Star Trek used this technology more than 60 years ago. Mobile and handheld phones that you can hold in your hand, were being used in Star Trek. Small portable computers, portable you can carry with you, rather like means such as. Laptops today were being carried around by the characters. These are the characters in the book, in the TV series. And speech recognition technology. Speech recognition is when you speak to your phone and the phone can understand what you're saying. And we have this technology today. In many respects, in many points of view, the technology of Star Trek was prophetic. Prophetic means it was able to tell what will happen in the future. Because 60 years ago, they used technology that we have today. So it was prophetic. And many things which were thought to be impossible then means at that time, are now objects, things we use every day. We use laptops and mobile phones every day. The title is ahead of its time. 60 years ago, they used technology that we use and have today. Some of the technology, however, has still not become reality. We don't have it today yet, for real. Spaceships, vehicles that can carry people into space, are still not being sent into space at warp speed. What is warp speed? Warp speed means a fictional speed, imaginary speed, enabling spaceships, makes spaceships able to travel at around almost at the speed of light. Okay? So warp speed is a speed that is as fast as the speed of light, almost. It is argued by some scientists. Argued means many scientists believe that this will not happen, that this will never be possible, as it goes against the laws of physics. It is against the scientific facts that we have today. So even in the future, people will not be able to travel this fast as the speed of light. We match this with not yet possible. We can't do this yet, and probably not even in the future. Perhaps the most famous technological idea put forward in Star Trek was that of beaming people to different places. Beaming was done in the transporter. Transporter is a machine that transport people, that move people to different places. The transporter is a fictional, imaginary machine which could transport, move people and things to wherever they wanted to go, wherever, any place they wanted to go immediately. In the case of Star Trek, what happened in Star Trek is that people were usually being beamed to a strange planet or back to the spaceship and out of danger. In fact, the beaming of people to different places has become one of the most famous aspects, one of the most famous features of the Star Trek technology, and the phrase, "Beam me up, Scotty," became a catchphrase. This is a catchphrase. Beam me up, Scotty. A catchphrase is a phrase that is loved and repeated a lot by the fans. Just like the phrase, "To infinity and beyond" in the Toy Story franchise, or "I'll be back" in the Terminator franchise. For a whole generation, for all people who watched Star Trek, this will be matched to a unique way of traveling is beaming people. Whether, if we will ever really be able to beam people from one place to another is now a question for discussion. A television news station, just like the CNN or the BBC, has recently, not long time ago, successfully beamed the image, not the person, just the image, like a picture, of one of its reporters, someone who writes news for the news station, into the studio through. Via means by computer or through computer, and interviewed him as though he were actually present, like he was actually in the studio taking the interview. He was in reality thousands of miles away. The reporter wasn't in the studio, his image was in the studio. We match this with 2. It really happened. Beaming has happened. Not exactly the same as in the movie, but a little different. Of course, this was slightly different, a little different from the Star Trek version, what we saw in Star Trek of beaming. It could, however, still have consequences, effects for transportation in the future. It may mean we will no longer be present at work with our bodies or in the classroom, but our hologram, an image of us, will be beamed to wherever we want or have to be. Could beaming end our transportation problems in the future? What does the future hold? Now read the text again and answer the following questions according to the text, based on what is written here. Science fiction is a combination, a mix of science and fiction, imagination, fiction. Science and fantasy. Which of the following was not used in the Star Trek series? They used mobile phones and portable computers and speech recognition technology, but they didn't use prophetic technology in their time. Their technology was prophetic, but they didn't use prophetic technology. According to the text, what do some scientists believe? One day we will be able to travel at the speed of light? That is not true. Some technology in Star Trek will not become a reality. That's traveling at warp speed. Correct. What could the transporter in the Star Trek series do? Can it transport an image of someone? No, this is what the news station has done. This can transport a person from one place to another. 5. The writer suggests that he proposes that beaming will never be used in the future. No, Beaming will not mean that we need to work. No, beaming could be a substitute to the need for transportation. Beaming in the future will not be different from the Star Trek version. It is C. Maybe we will not need to go to work in the future. We will just send our holograms to work. Now, match the words highlighted in the text with their meanings. Commonplace technology means ordinary or usual that we use every day. Portable computers means you can carry them with you. Fictional, imaginary, not real. Aspects, features. Attributes. Via means through or by. Via computer means by computer or through computer. Slightly means a little different. Consequences, the effects for transportation. Now imagine you are living 200 years from now. That's the year 2200. As quickly as possible, make a list. A list is when you write some items connected to each other, one below the other. List of things which you think you would be able to do then, 200 years from now, which are not possible now. Then compare lists with other people in your class. Have any others had the same or similar ideas? Which are the most popular ideas? Well, here are 4 ideas of mine. Teleportation, which is the same as beaming. Fly my own car. We don't have this today. You can live on Mars.